afternoon, friends. I think we've been blessed with an exquisite afternoon. All day it was looking good. My name is Margaret Sayers. I serve Abington Friends School as clerk of the school committee. I am a member of Abington Meeting, and as of today, I am the mother of an 8th and a 10th grader. At this time, let us join together in a moment of shared silence in the manner of friends. Thank you. On behalf of the school committee, it is with great joy that I welcome you to commencement for the class of 2013, the 316th graduating class of Abington Friends School. This is also the time when we close out another year of hard work, joyful learning, and deep relationships. Before I sit down, I would like to offer a special welcome and profound gratitude to two special groups of people who have made an Abington Friends School education possible for these young people. I would first like to acknowledge the faculty. In the 9 years that my family has been part of this community, my 2 children have been taught by 50 different teachers, 42 of whom are still here teaching. I think I speak on pretty good authority when I say that a finer group of educators has never been assembled. They have tirelessly engaged and challenged and cheered and befriended these young people and have helped them grow into the fine young men and women who sit before you today. So to all of the teachers out there, I say thank you and welcome. I would also like to acknowledge all of those in attendance, mostly parents, but I suspect there are some grandparents and aunts and uncles in this group as well, who gave these graduates the gift of an Abington Friends School education. At some point, you chose AFS for your child, or your child chose AFS and you said yes. Then you invested your time, your heart, and your financial resources in your child's experience here, sometimes at great sacrifice. It is humbling that you trusted us with the awesome responsibility of preparing your children to succeed in today's world. So to all of you, I say thank you and welcome.
Before they leave the stage, I want to acknowledge our first grade friends. We have a beautiful tradition at Abington Friends School going back more than 50 years of first graders and seniors forming a year-long friendship with first graders serving as pages. It started at Field Day and was recently at Arbor Day, and tonight we're so grateful for their participation. First graders, you've been wonderful friends to our seniors, and I know it means a lot to you to have them as friends as well. So thank you, first grade. Thank you, first grade teachers and Jason Novak. And thank you, juniors, for the daisy chain.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Nori. I love the way the seasons change at AFS. I like the permanence and impermanence of things. These trees that circle us, for example, they are hundreds of years old. Their roots run wide and deep under us. They have weathered countless storms. They seem so permanent. Tonight they are in their full green glory. But come September and October, their leaves will flame and fall. In the winter, they will stand bare and brown. They are also so impermanent. And now I stand here grappling with what seems to be one of the biggest transitions in my life, and what will stay, and while other things fade into impermanence. Which of these friendships will last a lifetime? How long will I recognize the Doppler effect when a siren goes by? Will my personal style still include buttons on my shoes? As we all leave this place and move on, which parts of our AFS selves will take root here, and which will take root within us? Each of us has grown so accustomed to the rhythms of what has felt permanent here at AFS. We've seen the seasons change many times, some of us more than others, but all of us up here comfortable with the routine. We're familiar with the levels in our daily schedule, the frequent bake sales, the yes you can encouragement from our coaches on the third lap of the mile, and the morning assembly mantra, yes you can. I mean, go well, stay well, sorry. We have grown used to our familiar walk to the meeting house from the school, the texture of a path beneath our feet. But each of us has also seen season after season on that pathway. The vibrant orange of the leaves in autumn, the gravestones peeking out from a blanket of snow, and the way the sun hits the grass on spring afternoons, the impermanence of things. And now, just as we've become sure of these cycles of permanence and impermanence, we have to go on and plant ourselves like new seeds in new places, in some ways as vulnerable as the saplings these trees once were. Each of us will face new seasons and explore ourselves in new environments. We are already feeling the bittersweet sting of the impermanence of not being in the AFS community day after day, as we say goodbye to our teachers and search for just the right words to sign our friends' yearbooks. Each of us will soon feel the glee of a new sense of independence, and maybe our stomachs will wrench as we realize that our best friend is no longer in the classroom next door. The sense of our own impermanence as we begin to move from this place is both exciting and daunting. We'll walk new pathways and discover all over again the things we've grown so at ease with here. Which teacher will have an open door and chocolate for when you've had a bad day? Which spot in the hallway will let the sunlight in just right so that it warms you as you do your homework? Where are the places quiet enough to settle ourselves the way we did each Wednesday at meeting for worship here? And in the process, we'll all have moments of doubt and we'll all have moments of triumph. Each of us will feel the sting of failure and the joyous burst of success. But these trees around us teach us that neither the failure nor the success will be permanent states. The knowledge gained from these moments, the lesson learned, that's what's permanent. From the nagging memory of that one missed goal, we learn to take more chances on the field. From that one math problem missed on a test, we learned new ways to study. Equally valuable was the joy in hitting that high note in a concert after having practiced over and over. The buzz we get from the epiphany of finding the perfect thesis and the satisfaction we get from uncovering the hidden meaning of a poem. That's what makes us strive for more of that glory we feel at the touch of success. We learn and we grow with each of these moments. What is permanent is who we have become at AFS, and there is so much comfort and beauty in that. We've all grown, held tight during storms, and basked in afternoon sun. But now we've grown all that we can here. From this moment on, it's our branches that will shade the students writing poems outside for English. It's our roots that will run deep under the paths here, under the clumsy footsteps of the 3-year-olds picking flowers in the graveyard, and the fast feet of the soccer team as they do sprints out on Smith Field. We will remain here. Our roots are now braided in the soil with the roots of men and women from AFS years past. We all share this soil. We all lose our leaves in the fall. We all shiver together in the winter, and we all wait patiently to blossom once again in the spring. To me, that's the beauty of the trees around me, that they are here just as we are here. That AFS piece of us is permanently rooted here and permanently rooted within us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vin Manta, and I am terrified of public speaking. So why on earth would I voluntarily stand in front of my entire graduating class, the junior class, the faculty, and countless families and friends to give a speech about my experiences at AFS? This year, I found myself in the exact same position 2 other times. Once was co-emceeing our annual Winterfest in front of the entire AFS community. The other was even harder, sharing my own personal story about my investment in diversity work on Many Voices One Community Day in front of the entire upper school. It was the same each time. A jolt of nerves a few days before, lost sleep the night before, and a pounding heart minutes before. Once I began to speak, though, I settled into a rhythm. I would speak, pause, take a deep breath, and continue. I had control over my words. I had written them. I knew they were good, and I knew I had the ability to say what mattered. After I finished, with adrenaline still pulsing through my veins, I would let out a deep sigh. Then these words would come to mind. I did it. I met the challenge. I learned something valuable, and I want to do it again, even better. This experience of trying something challenging, finding I have what I need to complete it, and being ready to take it on again, improving upon the last time, has not been limited to public speaking, nor has it been limited to just me. Many times, my classmates and I have wrestled with a thesis, lab report, or one last lap to run, uncertain, until we realized we could do this and dove right in. This happens everywhere at AFS, as I see classmates performing intricate solos on stage, singing that perfect shot to win the game, finishing those final brushstrokes on beautiful pieces of art, and leading difficult discussions around race, class, gender, all of those tough topics. And after we meet all of these challenges, we have that same realization. We did it. We met the challenge. We learned something valuable, and we wanted to do it again, even better. How did we learn to meet these challenges? AFS has instilled in us the invaluable ability to discover what matters most to us and then work hard to pursue our goals no matter how challenging they become. 2 classes, for me in particular, were perfect examples of this. In photography class, I found myself spending hours looking at the work of famous photographers, slowly developing a deeper understanding of the power of an image. I remember looking at Henri Cartier-Bresson's amazing skill at capturing so much life and energy in Paris in a single photograph. His images echoed in my mind as I traveled into Philadelphia on weekends in search of that same energy and life. What has started as a simple interest in the classroom has become a deep-seated passion in my life. Similarly, I remember studying with a friend for our first philosophy test. What surprised me was how quickly it changed from run-of-the-mill studying to a thirst for knowledge. We weren't just trying to get the work done. Instead, we spent hours wrestling with the philosophical systems of Kant, Plato, and other great thinkers because we were genuinely interested. As the ideas became more complex, we became more determined to untangle them. We have all found what matters most to us and learned how to follow its lead beyond the classroom out into the real world. Just recently, our senior independent projects gave us a taste of our possible futures. Among us are scientists who shadowed surgeons, athletes who worked with physical therapists, musicians who composed new piano pieces, and students deeply interested in the law who experience the daily drama of the courtroom. This is the best kind of knowledge that AFS has given us. We've learned that if we discover what we love and work hard at pursuing it, we will find the confidence to meet any challenge. So with all this knowledge, I'm headed off to school not quite knowing what I'm going to study. I have no idea what my future holds for me, and I'm okay with this. Because what I do know is when I'm challenged by an experience, whether it's in the classroom, on the soccer field, or face-to-face with prejudice, I will be able to meet it head on. And even to my classmates who do know what they're going to study and feel they have the world mapped out, I can say this: things change. Passions and aspirations might not be the same in 4 years. Either way, we have everything we need to succeed. So here we are, 2 months away from college, excited to leave, some more than others. All of us are ready. Our time spent at AFS, from 2 years to our entire lives, has nurtured and strengthened us. All we have left to do now is to take those essential lessons and carry them with us, to continue to discover our passions and pursue them, so that with even the nerves still pounding as we put down the laptop, scalpel, or brush, after creating our best work, we can say, I did it. I met the challenge. I learned something valuable, and I want to do it again, even better. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Garza, and I am pleased to introduce today's keynote speaker, Matthew Pilisher. Matthew Pilisher is a beloved member of the Abington Friends School graduating class of 1996. Teachers who taught Matt remembered him with words like these: smart, witty, multi-talented, artistic, quiet but very open-minded, community-minded, and just plain fun. He clearly made an impact on our community. After graduating from AFS, here in the same spot, Matt followed his artistic passions and studied filmmaking at Abington College. After graduating, he worked his way through jobs in retail, restaurants, and social work as a way to support his artistic passions, including painting, film, live theater, and playing music. He also became more and more aware of issues of social justice in our city and beyond. Later, Matt continued his studies at Temple University Law School, where he earned his JD, expanding his interest in advocacy for those whose voices aren't heard. While many college graduates, and certainly people with advanced degrees, channel themselves toward a single career path, Matt found a way to combine many of his interests, talents, and passions. He used his law degree and his knowledge of the inequality and cruelty of the criminal justice system with his filmmaking ability to create the documentary Broken on All Sides. This is an examination of our broken court system and of prison overcrowding in America. Matt sees film now as an advocacy tool that can educate people about the deep and complex issues that exist in our structures of mass incarceration and can lead to real change. As we listen to Matt, we should see his story as an inspiration of the graduates sitting on the risers today. Matt doesn't just have a bag full of hobbies that he brings out when he's not doing his real job. Instead, he utilizes each one of his passions to their full potential, educating, inspiring, and serving society, especially those who are not as privileged as we are. What does this mean to us? As we move beyond our lives here at AFS, I can envision this well-rounded class of 2013 following Matt's example. With similar passion and hard work, I'm sure we can also devote our many gifts and talents to working for the greater good and, in the process, discovering our deeper selves. It is my honor and my great pleasure to welcome home to AFS, Matt Pilisher.
It's very surreal to be here. And I, like Vin, I'm terrified of public speaking, but I've gotten used to it. Thank you, Rich, Gabrielle, Rini, and the class of 2013. I told a lot of friends and colleagues I was going to be speaking at the commencement ceremony of my high school, and people were like, wow, what an honor, congratulations. My wife, Karen Meshkoff, who's also an AFS alum, was so excited for me, she didn't even have time to feel jealous. And I sit my dad down and I tell him, Dad, AFS wants me to give the commencement speech to the graduating class. And I hold my breath and wait. And he says, I watched your talk at Earlham College and it was very tedious and boring. Don't mess this one up. The moral is, you never stop trying to please your parents, and they're never afraid to let you know when you don't. And at some point we feel grateful that they love you enough to keep pushing you towards being your very best self. And I'm happy to welcome my dad here today, and you can let me know if it gets boring. This is your day, seniors, class of 2013, as we celebrate your amazing work, your growth as people, and send you out into the world to start your rest of your lives. I've been so impressed to hear about your diversity work, how Tony has guided you all in the process of exploring difficult aspects of society and ourselves through race, gender, class, sexual orientation, religion. I saw some of the Drew Benfer's amazing and challenging history classes, teaching you to be, as Chinese artist Ai Weiwei would put it, obsessed citizens, forever questioning and asking for accountability. I heard over and over again about your dedication to social justice, speaking truth to power, and standing up for what's right, no matter who it's for or against. You've volunteered in hospitals, in schools, with underprivileged populations across the United States, Europe, South America, and Asia. I heard self-recognition of the privilege that exists in a school like this, and that you all understand the responsibility that comes with privilege. And you all are scientists, artists, mathematicians, animal lovers, skilled athletes, and even political candidates. Here's the crazy thing. This is just the beginning. You're about to embark on the biggest project yet, going out into the world and deciding who you are, and how you want to live. You're not going to have parents and teachers hovering over you, looking after you the same way anymore. So eat potato chips for dinner. Eat them 3 meals a day. Don't make your bed for a day, a week, a semester. It's up to you. And more seriously, it's going to be up to you to make a choice about how you'll give to your community, how you show up in your community. As one of you seniors told me so eloquently, the Quaker education at AFS makes you, but it doesn't define you. So you will decide who to be, and whether to fight oppression when you see it, and to work towards peace and justice when it's easier to stay silent. In a society that encourages competition, individualism, and looking after your own, working for social justice requires courage, conviction, and perseverance. And looking at you, the Abington Friends class of 2013, I know you will rise to the challenge and seek and speak the truth in a world that so desperately needs it. As the famous Quaker abolitionist and women's rights advocate Lucretia Mott put it, my convictions led me to adhere to the sufficiency of the light within all of us, resting on truth as authority rather than taking authority for truth. And the road of being yourself, figuring out how to manifest all your values, talents, and passions is long and winding. Like you all, I had many interests here at AFS and in college, and it was hard for me to say, how do you choose just one? What do you decide to do? My 20s were an experiment in how to feed my soul and my belly, living the life of a musician, artist, barista. And as the world changed around me, and I lost my mom to an early death, and September 11th made me and countless others start paying attention to our role in the world, I was compelled to get more serious about what my time meant on this earth. What does it mean to be a productive member of society? What could I do that would make my mom proud of me? This soul-searching led me to deepen my political activism and ultimately to law school. But the rigidity of legal education was for me detached and felt like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. So I was thrilled my 3rd year when I had the opportunity to audit a class that combined filmmaking with legal advocacy, and I jumped on it. A year later, I became a staff attorney at Community Legal Services in Philadelphia, mostly working with people who were formerly incarcerated and were having problems due to their criminal records. After a year, I had completed my first full-length documentary about mass incarceration, broken on all sides. Now I spend my time touring the country, presenting the movie, trying to raise awareness, and advocate with other people leading the fight to end mass incarceration in the United States. Even with the recognition the film has received, it still isn't easy being at dinner parties and being the filmmaker, lawyer, activist guy. However you phrase it, lawyer, attorney, filmmaker, advocate, it doesn't quite roll off the tongue. By the time I'm done explaining it to people, they're usually ready to get another drink. I've wandered in ways that are sometimes hard for parents and authority figures to understand. And I've also realized that if you keep trying, you take advantage of the resources that are offered to you, you may eventually find that the world needs exactly what you most have to offer. In closing, as you're answering the question, who are you? As you're wandering and learning and exploring and driving your parents crazy and being mindful of social justice and balance in your communities, remember to find balance in yourself too. To stop, take a moment of silence, appreciate the beauty of small things. You've heard these things, stop and smell the roses, wake up and smell the coffee. It's usually about smelling. For me, the simple pleasure of a fabulous cup of coffee will stop me dead in my tracks and think, it's wonderful to be here right now. So you've got to find those small things. I know your presence is going to be very missed here by the AFS community. but we'll take comfort in knowing that you're out there keeping the world in check. And I hope you'll remember to keep the little things important too. Whenever you need to, I'm happy to buy you a cup of coffee and sit down and talk, because now we're AFS alum and we're in this crazy world together. And because you should know where to get a good cup of coffee in town, because you've got a lot to do and you should be well caffeinated. So here's to the class of 2013. Thank you for what you've already given us, and thank you for what's to come.
Good evening. My name is Therese Sonigo, Senior Class Treasurer. We, the Abington Friends School Class of 2013, will be remembered for many contributions to this community. We shared ourselves on the fields, courts, stages, in the classrooms, and of course, in the hallways of AFS. In the hallways, we have come to be known as an approachable senior class. We could often be found taking a rest from our busy schedules in the chairs of the student commons, or, to Reni's chagrin, finding a moment to take a quick nap on the floor. In these ways, we made AFS a comfortable home for ourselves and invited everyone else to do the same. In every corner of our influence, which included leading as captains of teams, designing the costumes for our student actors, bringing our literary magazine to fruition, organizing community service opportunities, and finally, creating a welcoming atmosphere in the hallways, we invited everyone to be at home in AFS. Though we sometimes lamented over the lack of fear the underclassmen showed for us, it was always in jest, and we are honored to call so many students in the other grades our friends. And in that same spirit, we would like to gift AFS with a bench that will sit in Student Street. The bench will be a place where all students can find comfort. Such a place will be much needed in the absence of the senior class. The bench will also remind the class of 2013 of the home we have in AFS. Our bench will always be here, always inviting us to come back home and rest a while. We have put so much of ourselves into this community, and our bench is symbolic of our presence in the school, where it will stay and invite everyone to make a home. Thank you.
Thank you, Therese. Thank you, class of 2013, for your incredibly thoughtful and generous gift to the AFS community. It's my pleasure to accept it on behalf of the faculty and future students who will enjoy sitting on that bench. It's a fitting thing for you to do, given your generosity, given your ethic of community and sharing and joy. And so I want to share with you one last gift, a poem for you to take with you on your journey. It's called, appropriately enough, So Much Happiness by Naomi Shihab Nye. It is difficult to know what to do with so much happiness. With sadness, there is something to rub against, a wound to tend with lotion and cloth. When the world falls in around you, you have pieces to pick up, something to hold in your hands like ticket stubs or change, but happiness floats. It doesn't need you to hold it down. It doesn't need anything. Happiness lands on the roof of the next house, singing, and disappears when it wants to. You are happy either way. Even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful treehouse and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. Everything has a life of its own. It too could wake up filled with possibilities of coffee cake and ripe peaches and love, even the floor which needs to be swept, the soiled linens and scratched records. since there is no place large enough to contain so much happiness. You shrug, you raise your hands, and it flows out of you into everything you touch. You are not responsible. You take no credit, as the night sky takes no credit for the moon, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way be known. Class of 2013, may happiness flow out of each one of you into everything you touch. For all the rest of your days, we'll miss you. Come home and sit on your bench anytime you'd like. Best wishes. Go well.
Good evening, I'm Rich Norrie, head of school. It's a very full evening for those of us who love this class so much. And it's such a privilege to be here with you at this very special moment. I'm acutely aware of the danger of being the last person between you and the real world. And I'm very grateful for beautiful words and sentiments shared so far. Thank you, Sarah, Vin, Gabby, Therese, and our guest, Matt, and the poem from Martha, beautiful music from the upper school chorus. All of this is a way of showing love and appreciation to you at this moment before you take your first steps out into the world as independent people. I'll keep my remarks brief, but I have to say a few things to you. When I was 10 years old, I have a very specific memory of being in my grandmother's living room in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. There was a Life magazine. It was January 1970, and there was this huge, the whole issue was about the future. Part of it was about the 70s, but there was a piece about the year 2000. And it was full of nonsense. It was full of, unisex clothing and crazy haircuts and flying cars and space travel and all the stuff that actually didn't happen. But what I found was I was burning to see the year 2000. Not because I was so interested in the future, but I was really interested in my future. I was so curious because in the year 2000, I would be 40 years old. What 10-year-old has this great goal to see themselves at 40? But I did. I wanted to see, what would I be? Would I be the naturalist that my parents thought that I might be because I spent so much time in the woods? Would I be a doctor like my grandfather? Would I be a musician like my fantasies? The fact that I turned out being a middle school math teacher was a little off the beaten path. But at 10 years old, I really wanted to know, how does it all work? Would I be married? Would I have a family? What part of the world would I live in? I assumed I would have my hair. I was wrong about that. The fact is, the mystery of how a life becomes a life is something that I think we all think about at moments like these. And there are a couple of things that are obvious that make things possible for you. One, of course, is capability. The ability to think, to write, to collaborate, to navigate diversity well and productively, to see opportunity, to turn ideas into action. All of those are skills and capability that you've begun to develop powerful roots for here and you'll continue to in college. And then the other piece and a companion to that is opportunity. Opportunity is the chance to do something significant, to use your gifts well. And that comes with doing things well. Success leads to opportunities. The willingness to keep learning, keep trying, keep moving forward creates that opportunity. But for me, now well past the year 2000, well past 40, well past a full head of hair, I think that the answer to how a life becomes a life is contained best in words my father shared with me at this very moment when I was headed to college. My dad's here, he's my 80-year-old dad. He sent me to college with a Bible that he had found for me that he thought was a particularly beautiful translation of Scripture. He wanted me to have that source of wisdom close to me as I went out into the world. And he inscribed in the front cover a piece of Scripture that said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart lies also." Where your treasure is, there your heart lies also. And what's meant by that is now I see very clearly that our lives fill with the things that we hold to be of highest value. My life is full of music and family and spiritual life and books and community and learning and people like you. My life is full of the things that I love. I wondered, does it happen because of some master plan? I used to wonder, how do people's lives happen? Do they have this vision for themselves and then execute it perfectly? I don't think that's it. I think you have this gravitational pull within you of the things that you love, and you make one decision at a time about those things. And so if there's one wish I have for you, one imperative that I have for you, it is to cultivate reverence in your life. Let your life take shape around those things that are of highest value. What for you will inspire awe, reverence, passion, commitment, devotion, and love. The path to these things is real experience in a world where we're too easily satisfied by less than that, by a surfeit of virtual experience and distraction. Real experience. As human beings, we are wired, we're tuned to respond meaningfully to some things. Think about it. How light changes in the first 20 minutes of the day. It's magnificent. It's so moving and captivating. The scale of the oceans, mountains, and the expanse of stars in the sky at night. Falling in love. Beautiful music. The preciousness of new life of all kinds. YouTube has taught that us about kittens. But the thing to cultivate the deepest reverence for is that of God at the center of your being, at the center of each person's being. That source of unending peace, strength, humility, and love. Cultivate reverence for people, for spirit, for all that is healthy and good, for all that leads to a more just and peaceful world. If where your heart lies is that which is sacred, that which enlarges us and makes us more alive, you will reap the full promise, the full inheritance of your life. Your light will then multiply the good in the world, and that is what we are here for. And boy, do I want that for you. So one step at a time, one decision at a time, let your life fill with things that you love. And as George Fox would say, let your life speak. Just one more moment. I have to say something to your parents. Parents, here we are. You know what this year has been like. I think the senior year, we carry our children especially close to our hearts. And not just the present, but it feels like their whole childhood's been with us during the course of this year. As we've grown closer, as they've driven us crazy at times. But we share this moment together. And what a gift you have given your children in giving the goodness of this place. What has surrounded them is now in them. And so I'm grateful for the partnership. I'm grateful for our friendship as parents. And now, class of 2013, are you ready? Didn't mean to scare you. It's time. Here we go. Jun Jo. Luhao Wang. Gabrielle Kathleen Garza. Robin Ashley Harding. Alex Morgan Fisher. Vincent Giuseppe Manta. Matthew Eric Balick. Omar Isaiah Ayala Al-Farouk. Nathaniel Sean Smith. Antonio Joseph Piscatello. Richard Carrick Treston. Montana D. Mayfield. Stanley Imani Smith. Callum Paul McEwen. Oh, excuse me. Okay, Callum Paul McEwen. Kieran Patrick Luck. Sione Brianna Hughley.
I did it.
Xiaote Zhe. Daniel Stewart Lugano. Runzi Chen. David Alexander DeBucci. Brianna Rose Catronio. Emily Jordan Winokur. Victoria Blaine Gingrich. Jeremiah Sky Batts. Lauren Marissa Gold. William William Anthony James, Jr. Tatiana Gabrielle Lee. Sharon Alicia Thomas. Sophia Gott. Morgan Haley Fisher. Silva Libahova. Callie Jordan Mangle. Hannah Jane Levy. Sudan Caleb Green. Casey Victoria Harris. Jared Vaughn Wright. Bria Amira Biddle. Erica Lithin Loren Bradley. Brianna Morgan Butler. Yuhao Joe. Jason Aaron Myers. Kalendar Joseph Schwager. Yvonne Glinsky. Sarah Rose Norrie. Zazie Elena Ray Trapido. Sierra Brittany Lanfranco. Melissa Alexandra Sparrow. Allison Mary Carl. Desiree Adriana Moten. Alexa Jane Bowman. Emma Elizabeth Moreno. Chloe Reed Lazarus. Leela Civi Brightman. Julia Victoria Amento. Rachel Jan Scalzo. Allison Catherine Rubin. Alexandra Maria Nujden. Rebecca Loriana Fisher. Therese Khadija Soniga. Nicole Goroshovsky. Hannah Catherine Schorsch. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2013.